For this part of Get Riding Week, this is how to teach your kids how to ride a bike. This is Miles. He's 2 years old. He's my second boy, and I reckon that's about the right time for them to start riding bikes. When they're not grumpy, when they're about 2, they'll start to get into it, hopefully. My other boy, Lucas, is 5. He started out on a balance bike as well, and that really is the best place, I think, to start. I know there's arguments for and against stabilisers or training wheels, but I think kids these days, starting them off on balance bikes is great. Everyone needs practice, especially kids when they're getting into something, and time on the bike is the biggest thing to help them progress. But why not make it easier for them to practice riding by having something lying around in the house? We've got a couple of ride-on machines like this Thomas the Tank Engine, but Miles is super keen on riding a 3-wheel motorbike, and he bombs around the house on it. If you can leave them around the house so they can just pick them up and have a go, then that's all the better, because the more time they spend on these things, the better they're going to get. Obviously, a good fitting helmet is really important for kids. They will fall off. Also gloves, you can get cold hands, especially on the bike seats when you're riding along, because they're not doing any pedalling. Cold hands can be a bit of a problem. Knee pads, elbow pads. Also, if you want one, we've got some GMBN nice little kiddie jerseys as well. It's really important to have a bike that fits them. Too big and they won't be able to reach the floor comfortably, and too small, it can get a bit sketchy when they get a bit of a wobble on. In my experience, the kids start pedaling from about 4-ish. With Lucas's first pedal bike, which he got when he was 4, I took off the cranks and pedals so he could get used to it first as a balance bike. But moving to pedaling is quite a big step, and you might get a bit of resistance from them if they're really good at scooting on their balance bikes with their feet, and they really don't want to go to the pedals. Top tip here, we use some of those kids' reins that you can use to keep control of them. It only took about 15 minutes, and I put the reins on Lucas and just ran down the street with him. Literally 15 minutes later, we could get rid of those, and he was pedaling by himself for the very first time. When you do go out mountain biking for the first time properly with your kids, where you're riding your bike as well, then just bear in mind it's going to be much harder for them to get up the hills. So try and find some fun short trails where they're not going to get too tired. There is another option where you can get a tow rope. Some of these are brilliant. If you know that you want to go up some big hills because they really enjoy the downhills, then it's much easier if you can tow them. These kid seats are amazing for taking your kids out for a ride with you, but also they get a feel, they love it. Lucas loved it when he was really young, still does, it's massive now. Miles just started to like this, so they get a feel for riding and steering, going for a ride with you. A basic bike skills. Problem is, when they get too big, like Lucas, who's now 5.5, is really you need an e-bike because they're flipping heavy. But Lucas, you're almost too old for this anyway, aren't you, dude? Too big.